speak on the impact of digitalization and digitization of social security schemes, experience of WCF. I will read your bio just in a minute. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Mr. Steven is a self-motivated individual who is result-oriented and able to adapt to new experiences. A seasonal IT professional with over 24 years of experience in the information and communication technology industry, bringing experience across Africa, Europe, and the Middle East, managing and executing major ICT projects across the regions. Mr. Steven also is a certified director through the Institute of Directors of Tanzania. Mr. Steven, may I welcome you now to the podium, please, to give us your profound experience of Tanzania. Karibu sana. Our next presenter will also be in French, so I hope everybody has the hearing aid. Once Mr. Kouassi comes to the podium, we will switch to channel 2 for French. Channel 1 for English, please.
Thank you. Wow, actually I never had an opportunity to hear my bio from someone else actually talking about it. It sounds very, very well. Thank you very much, the MC. I think my presentation is going to depart from the previous presentations. I'm sure you've heard about the financial numbers, economics, socio-economic growth and stuff like that. So I think my presentation is going to focus on quite a different perspective, and I think probably it will be the only one focusing on the different items. As the MC has said, I'll be talking about the impact of digitalization and digitization of social security schemes, but the focus will be on the specific on the Tanzanian aspect. Just to start with, before I go into the slides, I wanted to share a bit of an experience in terms of the journey that WCF has actually went through from Tanzania perspective. Some of you probably, you are aware, last week on Friday and Saturday we celebrated our 10-year anniversary. And I'm actually quite honored to see my former DG, Mr. Masam Shomba, whom we started the journey together almost 10 years ago. Thank you very much for being with us. But also, this is not my presentation, it's actually the presentation of my current Director General, Dr. John Mdumo, who was with us yesterday. Today he's not with us, but I'll be doing his presentation on his behalf, and hopefully you'll be able to get what we have prepared from the WCF perspective. So basically my presentation is going to cover pretty much 6 items, as you can see from the slides. But due to the limitation of time, I don't think I'll be able to cover all the details that I wanted to share with you today in terms of the experience. So I'll skip some of the slides, but as much as I can, I think I'll try to give you the experience of what we have done. I think if you look at the theme, it's called Social Security Funds, a Catalyst for Infrastructure Development and Socio-Economic Growth in Africa. Now, my fellow presenters have actually talked about the numbers, but how do we actually collect the numbers? Because we need the system. In today's world, without the system and digitalization as well, digitization of the information that we have, I don't think you can see the graph that my previous presenter have actually shown, which can actually help you to get the numbers that you wanted to. So I think this is also very important in terms of what it actually support and enable the business to be able to collect the numbers that they wanted to collect and be able to actually support the infrastructure development as well as the socioeconomic growth as we see there. So now I'm going to focus now specific on the WCF. So basically, I had you'll see some of the responsibility that we have. They're basically common across. But if you look at the WCF perspective, we are only 10 years old since our existence. But I think we've been able to do quite a number of things to enable us to achieve what we wanted to achieve. And I'm sure that the following slide will actually be showing you what we have done. I'll spend a bit of time on this slide because basically it covers now the journey that we started in 2015. As most of you are aware, the fund was established in 2015. Basically, there was nothing. It was only the act that was approved by the Parliament of Tanzania, of United Republic of Tanzania. And I remember the DG, Mr. Masha Mshomba, was with us. And I was lucky enough to be one of the first management staff to actually be part of the journey itself. So basically, we had nothing. There was no system, no computers, no infrastructure, no network, nothing. So basically, we actually started creating the policies, the guidelines, the procedures and stuff like that, not only in the ICT department, but across all the other departments as well. So if you look at it, 2015, we started with the establishment of the fund and the initiation of the system development. Basically, we only focused on one module, that is called the registration module. So you can actually see we started from, the English word is called from the scratch. We had nothing completely within the system, but actually we had that vision that we wanted to achieve what we wanted to achieve. So I remember I took the journey to actually go across other public social security institutions to go and learn what they've done successfully and what they did not do it successfully, just to understand the challenges and be able to leapfrog on some of the issues that are actually existing. So it was an opportunity for me. It was my first stint in the public sector. I came from the private sector, so I wanted just to learn to see how we can actually be able to deliver the vision that we have within the WCF. And our vision, maybe just for information, is to be the role model for workers' compensation services in Africa. So that's the journey that we started to. So in 2016, we deployed the first infrastructure. And basically, we were running on a single PC, the registration module. So we started to operationalize it. But if you look at it, at that time, it was only focused in the Dar es Salaam. At that time, it was kind of a commercial city. We were not in the dome at that time. So eventually, all the employers, they were required to come to us. So you can imagine the mainland Tanzania, all the employers have to come to WCF to be able to register. So it was quite a massive. I think if you look at the picture down there, that's what we used to have during month end, where you have a big queue of employers coming to register and pay their contribution. But we had that vision and we wanted to actually be able. So we continue building the system, the registration module, and also payment of claims started in 2016. So we had a 1-year gap for us to be able to collect and be able to start the payment of claims. So we started paying, but it was kind of a manual, not manual, actually it was fully manual, where employer had to actually come physically to our office to be able to actually make the payment and be able to register their institution. In 2017, if you look at it, that's why we actually, a span of 1 year, we were able to develop and launch our first online service portal that was only focusing on registration and payment of contribution only. Because we thought the impact it had on employers in terms of them coming to the office and be able to actually make the payment, it was not easy. So doing business was actually being hindered or being challenged in terms of actually making the process becomes easier. So we thought, let's just do it at least for the first time, within a span of 2 years to be able to launch the first online service where it was focusing on the registration as well as payment of contribution. Also, one thing that happened in 2017 is that the Tanzanian parliament passed a bill where all public entities, whenever they receive payment that is coming to the government, they have to issue with a control number. It's called Government Electronic Payment Gateway. In 2018, we actually did a major enhancement of the employer's online self-service portal, where now employers were able to actually be able to pay without coming to the fund and be able to make their payment easier. So instead of them coming over, they were able to sit back in their offices and be able to make the payment as they were required. But also, we allowed them to make assessment of the employees, because one of the requirements of the fund to make a payment for contribution means you need to assess the payroll of your employees. So initially, they had to do it manually and bring it to the WCF, but actually enable them to be able to do it by themselves. But also, there was another issue of receipt. Initially, we used to issue government receipt, which were manual receipts that were issued by paper. So eventually, we went ahead and issued what we had called electronic receipt. In 2019, we also did a major milestone where we actually developed an online notification system, because part of the function of the fund is to be able to receive notification from clients. So this platform was actually issued on the 2019, where now employers were able to actually send their claims or notification to the fund without actually visiting the fund physically. So this was actually a major milestone in terms of what is required from from the employers. In 2020, we did what we call ability for employers to be able to submit a return of earnings. So this is also another major milestone that happened in 2020, of which really supported the business to be able to do business much better. Now in 2021 to 2025, which is this currently, there was a number of issues that were actually done. This include payment by instrument on contribution arrears, online employees claims review, because our process required that whenever you're not satisfied with the first claim that you submitted to the fund, you can actually send for review to the Director General. So this was also done manually by the employers. Now we enable them to be able to do it through the platform. Another major milestone that really happened on that particular time, within the span of 5 years, we did, of which I think was actually launched last week during the commemoration of 10 years anniversary, was the pension verification app, which now, because we have a number of pensioners that are sitting across the mainland Tanzania, so we required to actually go and verify them. So we have the app that actually support that and be able to allow them to be able to be verified easily by the employees of the fund. Another major milestone that really happened was the employees portal. Basically, this was also launched last week. It was operational for soft launch for 3 months, but now it actually enables employees to be able now to actually go into the fund and see the transaction, the contribution that are made by the employers. Now, this allows us to be able to actually be more transparent in terms of the contribution that is received from the employers, but not only that, means that they can actually question whether the contribution that are being received by the fund, they're actually their pure salary that they're actually supposed to be getting. So basically, if you look at this journey, this slide, it gives you the journey that took us within the 10 years of the WCF existence to date of what we have done. And I think the other slides will actually tell you more in terms of the product that we have and what they can actually do to improve the business operating environment, but also support the beneficiaries who are the employees of the different institutions, public as well as private sectors. With respect to the WCF, we have what we call the digital systems and infrastructure. So basically within the fund actually focuses in the provision of services through the members and the stakeholders through a number of modules that we've actually developed. And the good thing about it is that most of these modules have been developed internally. When I say internal, I mean we actually use the internal resources, the staff within the fund, to be able to develop. Now, this gave us an edge in terms of actually owning the system itself. I think the previous experience, if you talk about it, is that most of the other systems that we used earlier on, we used to buy them off-shelf. When I say off-shelf, it means actually go into Microsoft or to Oracle, you buy them. So eventually the source code, the changes and everything, it means you have to actually go back and ask them for a change. But if you do it internally, it means it gives you an opportunity and the flexibility for you to be able to make changes as soon as you want. So actually, the core fund management system, we call it MARC, you can see, I think, the slide there, is basically internally developed fully, and the fund owns the source code that I used to build that platform. The modules that I've developed, I think in my previous slide, I only showed the registration mode, but there are actually quite a number of them that they're actually running as we speak. We have the registration and payment of contributions. We have the payment of benefit, assessment services, because we have medical report that are coming from people who are injured or actually have disease that are work-related. It means we do assessment, but also the payment of compensation itself, but also we also do what is called workplace risk assessment. So all these platforms within the platform itself that we have that support the fund to be able to deliver its mandate. In terms of ICT automation, I think my former DG yesterday spoke about NSSF, where they have actually reached, I remember, 94%. As we speak today, and that is actually the summary that was done in August last year, we were sitting at around 96.5% automation of business process fully within the fund. So basically the fund's operational is end-to-end without manual processing. We have some few items where we need to actually work on, but as we speak today, we're actually sitting at around 96.5% automation of the business process. Okay, I think I'll go quickly now because I need to. So basically this is actually show you some of the bouquet of services that we have within the fund. It gives you the ECT service catalog we have, the online services, the interface that we have, because we don't work in silos. Basically, we work with other stakeholders, the government, the private sector. Consider WCF is actually covering both. We work with both private and public sector, so we have that coverage. So we have the interface between that, and then you see the core system that we have, which is Mark system. We have a one-stop call center. Basically, this is an online service. It gives you the whole bouquet of services that we offer as a fund, from the registration, collection of contributions, claims, and the rest of the other services that we offer as a fund. This is actually give you a nutshell in terms of how our systems are interrelated. And this not only speaks internally, but it also goes across to other stakeholders that we work with. Whether it's a government or a private sector, a medical service center, it actually has that opportunity. So you basically have one-stop center where you can actually go and be able to get all the services that WCF can offer. I think this one is just talking about the governance, which I won't touch much because we don't have enough time. I would rather go straight into the impact that we have. I think if you talk about the online services, this is on employers' self-service portal, basically. Significantly, it has reduced the cost of doing business in Tanzania. Because initially, they had to actually do everything physically between us. Now, with their computers, internet at home, or at their offices, they will be able to actually perform all those functions. This one, I think, is the latest one. This is for the employees or service portal where they can actually now be able to traverse through the fund system and be able to see the information as soon as they want to do so. We also have a mobile app that was also launched last week. You can actually go Google. It's called WCF from Kononi. Basically, it gives you the opportunity to actually do all the transaction. Our focus for now is for the employees, but we plan also to launch it for the employers as well. Basically, we also, as I said, because we deal with worker injured or employees who have contracted occupational disease, so we have a medical service portal as well as an integration with all the service providers in Tanzania. We have a contract with them where they can actually be able now either to come through the web service portal or to be able to integrate directly with us. So this gives us an opportunity to be able to work seamlessly with our service providers. Okay. Quickly, I think this is, we talk about the event, and I think the previous one is more important. This one is also the pensioner verification app, where it does actually image verification. So we can actually go take a picture of you, and then the next time we just take a picture of it, and then it actually does the comparison. There's a bit of an AI in between that particular place. Just to go quickly, I think there's a seamless contribution of payment. As I said, we have multiple channels that you can actually do the payment. If you have that not smartwatch, it means you can use a USSD, but you can also do WhatsApp payment of contributions, but also the other channel, as you can see from there, the push messages. I think I don't touch, this is basically providing the assurance in terms when there's a disaster. How do we do it? We do a real-time replication of our services. So whenever the production site goes down, it means we're able to immediately recover through our disaster recovery site. Maybe just quickly to go on the end, I think this is some of our achievement that we have done as a fund. In 2025 this year, we were the second award winner for e-government authority in terms of bigger compliance when it comes to standard guidelines among government institutions. There are about 500 of them, so you can imagine. And also we were the third winner award in public sector in Tehama Awards, but also in 2023, we got a recognition from ASSA in the ASSA Good Practice Award. I think upcoming project, we have a few, but this is just in a nutshell. We have the engineering of our business process, where we want to actually improve what we do, but also we're going to collocate our data center to be able to create more efficiency and focus on business. And eventually, data warehouse and artificial intelligence is the way to go. Thank you very much. I'd like to submit.